In this class we're going to develop the stomp a little more. We will add a couple more movements for now. As always, when we add something new, we need to be careful not to lose focus on the stomp itself. Many times it's all too easy to learn a thing, yet at the same time forget what we've just learnt. This is just one of the many problems associated with the learning process, because as soon as the brain receives a new piece of information, it really struggles to cope with everything all at once and suffers from information overload. Sounds stupid, I know, but I think we've all experienced that kind of feeling at some time or other. We need to develop all of our footwork with a different mentality to that which is normally transmitted. What do we mean by this? Well, if you're asked why do you train footwork, what is your answer? Because there is actually only one. Obvious answers are move, close the distance, evasion, good balance, etc., etc. But the one simple answer that will change the way in which you think about footwork is this. You learn your footwork to attack. Every time you move, you should be trying to destroy something, not just closing the gap, for example. By making a simple reference point on the ground means that even when we train alone, we can still develop many of the attributes that we need. It's very simple, but I've spent many hours training like this, especially when access to training partners has been limited for me. All it takes to get the most out of this kind of training is a good mindset. I hear so many times the following words: yeah, but I don't have a training partner. Okay, it's not ideal, but it's not an excuse. Glass half full, half empty syndrome. You decide. In this next exercise, we can see Ruben developing the 5 windows. Only this time we're developing this one on the steps. It changes our footing a little, but it plays with the brain more. By changing our situation, we learn to adapt very quickly. It means we can provoke the mind more and instigate good questions that we need to answer. And obviously the last thing we want to do is lie to ourselves, so they need to be good answers. When we start developing this work with our training partner, we always use steel-plated footwear. This means we can actually get a real feel for attacking the foot. But we still need a degree of caution, as with any kind of training that involves a genuine physical contact. There's actually a very interesting picture associated to this particular development, one that is based around multiple opponents. You may be able to see where this actually fits into the puzzle if you watch the 2-man predator exercise carefully. With inquisitive nature, all of this work becomes amazing, because there are just so many development possibilities. Even in its raw form, the simple stomp is really cool. When we have the ability to turn a simple step into a destructive attack, then we're definitely in front of the pack. And that's because most people don't train the basic footwork exercises with this kind of smash and destroy mentality. In this development we see how Ruben, once he stands up, actually attacks twice with the stomp, once facing the opponent and the other one whilst turning. This will provoke all kinds of questions, I know, and that's good. Makes us start thinking, but try to find the answer, not just the critical response. The thing I like most is to provoke questions in people. The concept of the chameleon plays a big part in any combat strategy. Street fighting is no different. If we have the ability to play with what people initially think and feel, well, this is a great skill. And I know this particular movement opens a minefield of questions, but hey, don't dwell on them for now, but try and find a positive answer, because there is a very good reason for this particular movement. A quick clue with the answer for this one. Well, it involves multiple opponents, obviously. This concept is the consequence of fighting with several people at the same time. It evolved very quickly and gave a good answer, as we will see a little clearer in the later grades. So don't be hasty to judge anything before the whole concept is understood properly. I know the instinct is always to think we know best, but many times there are things we're not able to see at first glance, so cautious is the key. Be clear before you jump. In this next part of the training, Ruben continues the attack after the stomp. He reattaches to Roland with the Garamono and then uses the work we've been using previously. So in effect, Ruben attacks Roland whilst facing him, he then attacks Roland while facing away from him, and then finally reattaches to continue fighting and make a takedown. So it looks like there is a big expansion of the Predator starting to take place now. We are actually starting to think about how we can actually deal with other opponents whilst already in the fight. This is a big subject, we know. Well, that's what we're all after, isn't it? We want to develop new skills that other people don't readily possess. Now in the two-man Predator, we are laying the foundation for addressing this complex yet much sought after skill of fighting with more than one person. This exercise is really cool, but still in quite a basic form. Let's not forget, this is now a yellow grade student learning his work for the orange grade. So we're not just playing with the words to try and impress. It is what it is, the work for the yellow grade student. If we keep this in mind, it will help us to focus on what we need to do. Not get lost in, yeah, but surely. There will be plenty more time for all the anarchic questions in the future. For now, let's just get this basic work nailed, because it's not as easy as people think. For me personally, this exercise, two-man Predator, is truly amazing. Even in the lower grades like these, when we don't have that much information yet. It really is the most incredible teacher of how it is. I can tell you one thing for sure, that with a couple of years training like this, your ability to operate under stress will be very impressive. And if you put the time in and train consistently, then you'll develop what you're looking for. But in saying that, you will need to work for it, and believe in you, and make sure that you don't get caught up in the stupid mind games that the martial arts many times likes to cultivate. Become a pioneer and pioneer your way forward. Until next week's class, enjoy.